This was the moment that had Huntsville buzzing, and it wasn't just another small drama between Melody and Martell. This was a courtroom showdown that left everyone stunned and talking for days. Melody didn't just walk into the courtroom like it was another ordinary hearing. She walked in ready, calm, and completely unshaken. From the way she carried herself to the way she presented her case, it was clear she was not there to play. She had prepared for every angle, every accusation, and every desperate attempt Martell was about to throw her way. What happened inside that courtroom was not just a legal victory, but also a public reminder of who holds the real power when facts are put on the table. Martell had walked in that day with full confidence. According to insiders, he thought this was his big chance to push for stricter custody rules and limit Melody's control. He wanted to paint her as unstable, as distracted, as a mother too busy with her career to care for her children properly. His plan, at least in his mind, was simple. Discredit Melody, drag her name through the mud, and hope the judge would be swayed into tightening custody arrangements in his favor. But Martell underestimated one thing: Melody's preparation and her ability to fight back with undeniable proof. When the hearing began, Martell's lawyer stood up to make their case. But the arguments, as witnesses later described, were thin and weak. They pointed fingers at Melody's busy schedule, brought up her music career, her filming schedule, and even her presence on social media. They tried to spin her ambition and success into a negative. They tried to say her independence was neglect. They wanted the court to see her as distracted, selfish, and unstable. But the problem was that they had nothing solid to stand on. Their case was built on speculation, shade, and personal jabs rather than real evidence, and then came Melody's turn. Calm and composed, she didn't raise her voice or argue unnecessarily. She simply walked up with her lawyer and handed the judge documents that told a completely different story. These were school records, attendance notes, testimonies, and even supporting words from the children's guardian ad litem. The judge leaned forward, visibly interested as the evidence was laid out piece by piece. Melody had proof of being present at school events, records of managing her children's schedules, and testimonies that praised her as a hands-on mother who never fell short of her responsibilities.
Neighbors had vouched for her character. Teachers had praised her dedication. Even her children's guardian had spoken positively about her parenting. It wasn't just Melody saying she was a good mother, the proof came from respected voices, from the community, and from records that couldn't be argued with, and then came the twist that shifted the entire courtroom. Just as Martell's team tried to redirect, Melody's lawyer pulled out new evidence that nobody saw coming. This wasn't just routine paperwork. It was bold, factual, and it undercut Martell's entire argument. Witnesses inside the courtroom say Martell's jaw literally dropped. Some people in the gallery gasped. The shift in the energy was instant. From that moment on, the case was no longer about Martell's accusations. It became about his lack of truth and his weak attempts to twist the narrative. The judge immediately recognized what was happening. The arguments from Martell's side were flimsy and petty, while Melody's side was backed by facts. The judge turned to Martell's lawyer and asked if this was really the foundation of their case. Silence filled the room. Martell fumbled, avoided eye contact, and had nothing to say. The gallery could feel the tension. It was Melody's undeniable preparation versus Martell's bitterness, and Melody came out on top. The judge's ruling was swift and clear. Martell's requests were denied. Melody's custody rights remained untouched. But the judge went even further than that. Looking Martell straight in the eye, the judge delivered a stern warning. The words echoed through the courtroom: "Mr. Holt, the court will not be used as a tool for revenge. Your children's well-being comes first, not your ego." That line hit harder than any ruling could. It wasn't just a judgment, it was a rebuke, a reminder that the court was not Martell's stage for personal grudges. As the ruling came down, whispers filled the gallery. Some people struggled to hide smiles. Even the bailiff, sources say, tried to contain a smirk as Martell was shut down. Melody's mother, Miss Vanessa, sat with quiet pride, her smile calm but powerful. Some of Martell's own relatives looked frustrated, shaking their heads as if they had seen this outcome coming. It was a moment that defined the day, not just Melody's victory, but Martell's public defeat. Outside the courthouse, the reaction exploded. Fans who had gathered cheered as soon as the decision was announced. Cameras flashed as Melody walked out calm, composed, and unbothered. Meanwhile, Martell stormed out quickly, avoiding reporters, not saying a word. Social media erupted within minutes. Twitter threads broke down every detail of the hearing. TikTok creators went live to discuss the courtroom drama. Instagram feeds filled with memes, quotes, and reactions. Hashtags like #TeamMelo and #CourtVictory started trending almost instantly. It was Melody once again proving she cannot be shaken, no matter how many times Martell tries to drag her into conflict. It was proof that preparation, truth, and calm strength outweigh pettiness and bitterness. Fans filled comment sections with support for Melody, praising her for standing strong not just as a mother but as a woman who refuses to back down. Even cast members from Love and Marriage, Huntsville had their reactions. Kimmy reportedly told friends she admired Melody's composure and strength. Marceau, always one for a sly jab, hinted online that Martell needed to sit down and stop embarrassing himself. And of course, Miss Wanda stirred up more controversy by continuing to defend Martell, which only fueled more debates online. But beyond the drama, the most important part of the ruling was the stability it provided for the children. They now had clarity. They would not be caught in the middle of constant back-and-forth battles. The court made it clear that their well-being comes first, and that was something Melody had always fought for. The children's stability, their growth, and their sense of peace were protected. For Martell, however, this loss was another blow to his reputation. Fans dragged him online for wasting the court's time, for trying to use the children as pawns, and for failing to come to terms with co-parenting respectfully. His credibility took another hit. Many began asking whether this would finally force him to stop or whether he would try another desperate move that would only backfire again. Inside the fandom, debates grew stronger. Some supported Melody wholeheartedly, seeing her as the true example of strength and motherhood. Others pointed out Martell's repeated pattern of stirring drama, saying it was time for him to finally step back and learn his lesson. But what everyone agreed on was that this ruling changed the game. It wasn't just about winning custody, it was about setting boundaries, showing strength, and proving that the court cannot be used for petty personal battles. For Melody, this was more than just a legal victory. It was a declaration. She showed that she would not be rattled, that she would not let Martell or anyone else control her narrative. She stood tall, backed by evidence and truth, and came out stronger than ever. For Martell, it was a reminder that his tactics no longer work. The days of intimidation, manipulation, and dragging Melody down are over when facts stand against him. As fans continue to dissect every detail, one thing is certain, this moment will play a huge role in the future of Love and Marriage, Huntsville. It guarantees explosive drama next season, because moments like this cannot be ignored. The cameras may not have captured the courtroom directly, but the ripple effects will be all over the show. Fans will tune in not only to see how Melody moves forward, but also to watch how Martell reacts after being shut down so publicly. And yet, through all of this, the message remains clear. The children come first. Their well-being is not a game. The court made that clear, and Melody's actions reinforced it. She continues to show that she is not just a mother, but also a fighter, a leader, and a woman who refuses to be silenced. This victory was more than just paperwork. It was symbolic. It was Melody shutting down Martell with evidence that stunned everyone in that courtroom. It was her reminding him, the judge, the cast, the fans, and even herself that truth and preparation will always win over bitterness and revenge. And so the big question remains, will Martell finally stop after this? Or will he find another desperate move to drag Melody into more battles? Fans are watching closely, but for now, Melody holds the real power. She has proven that no matter how many times Martell comes for her, she will continue to stand tall, calm, and ready, because the truth is on her side.